From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Evening Edition.
Now at 5, delays and cancellations plague Bay Area airports. We'll be live at SFO with frustrated flyers.
Stuck here for another 12 hours at least because we had to switch airlines.
Plus, legal limbo for SNAP recipients. Gilroy's emergency response to get meals to those who need it.
When something is not happening, we can't let our families go hungry. We can't just wait for somebody to do something for us, and then you just step in and make it happen.
Well, on the Saturday evening, thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Hackney.
And I'm Andrea Nakano. Another twist in the back and forth over SNAP benefits, with the Supreme Court issuing an emergency order to block the funding late last night. It's the latest development in what is now the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Today, senators returned to Capitol Hill for a weekend session aimed at bringing the stoppage to an end. They did not hold a vote. Communities here in the Bay Area are mobilizing, making sure students and their families have something to eat. Today, in Santa Clara County, a school district was stepping in to help fill the void. John Ramos has the story.
As a community with a large agricultural base, Gilroy is feeling the pinch of the SNAP cutbacks. But when it comes to students, the need is there even on days when schools aren't in session. On Saturdays, the Gilroy High campus is quiet and deserted. But because of what's happening in Washington, D.C., there was action in the parking lot.
It's just the uncertainty, right? It's on, then it's off, then it's on again. So we just want to make sure that our families are not scrambling.
The Gilroy Unified School District, in partnership with a South Bay nonprofit called Community Seva, was handing out hot meals to people who normally rely on SNAP to feed their families when school is out.
I started thinking about what the impact might be on our families that are enrolled in the SNAP program. Our students get free breakfast and lunch during the week, and we really started thinking about what happens on weekends.
500 fresh pasta meals were prepared in Community Seva's own kitchen. The group's founder, Nathan Ganeshan, says Seva is a Sanskrit word meaning selfless service.
SNAP benefits have been gone and CalFresh benefits have been suspended. So that's where Community Seva stands for. We rise to this occasion to help the community, and especially our students who are in need at this hour.
The hot meal program will continue on Saturdays and Sundays for the next 3 weeks. Freshman Avita Jahangiri says she's hoping the problem won't last longer than that.
Like, I'm genuinely hopeful that like this society and like everything in my future and everyone else's is going to be like good, because right now there's a lot going on. So.
But the confusion over recent court rulings has everyone guessing what is to come. A district court judge ordered the Trump administration to resume full SNAP payments, but just last night, Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who is not normally a Trump supporter, put a stay on that order. Professor Brad Jundef at Santa Clara University Law School says we shouldn't read too much into that.
It's simply an order to say that the district court's judgment shall not take effect until the Court of Appeals has had a chance to hear and decide the appeal from the district court. This action, what Justice Jackson did, is merely to permit more time for an emergency appeal to be heard and decided by the Court of Appeals. And it was in no way an indication or a preview of what the Supreme Court might think.
The professor says the High Court will likely take up the case as the Trump administration pleads for emergency relief from the judge's order. Meanwhile, Ganeshan's group will continue providing some emergency relief of their own.
And look at every opportunity is a positive opportunity. You have given us to do some karma and earn some karma.
So this is good karma?
This is a good karma.
For all of us now?
All of us, what you do. That's why I say blessing in disguise.
Karma is about the things you do coming back to you, good or bad. Perhaps those fighting over food assistance in Washington should keep that in mind.
Okay, let's get you caught up on a couple of things in this first alert forecast. First of all, we are like 10 to 12 degrees above average for this time of year. No doubt you noticed it outside. It was kind of nice. Tomorrow is warmer. It's going to look a lot like that again tomorrow. We'll have that. Those are clear skies out there now that we're getting a little bit later in the day with the time change. It's kind of tough to tell. But I want you to see Sunday's numbers because these are about 5 degrees warmer than today. You're going into the low 80s if you're inland tomorrow. You should be right around 69 or 70 for an average daytime high in inland valleys. Come back over to San Francisco. 2 degrees shy of 80 degrees tomorrow. 71's the average in San Francisco for this time of year. We're not breaking records, but we are well above average, and no doubt you are noticing it if you've been outside at all. Okay, I got to draw your attention to the other headline in the forecast, which is getting here a little bit later. We've got rain coming our way, and we've got a little more clarity on this now. That system right there, Thursday. We'll go over the details on it. I'll show you the Thursday rain in a bit. For now, Brian, back to you.
All righty, Darren, thank you. The shutdown also impacting travel from coast to coast. More than 1,000 flights across the country were canceled today for the second day in a row as the sector continues to grapple with a severe shortage of air traffic controllers. Bay Area airports were not immune from that impact, and it could get worse. The FAA said that it will require deeper cuts every day, including up to a 10% reduction by next Friday if the shutdown continues. And Art Dahlin is on the ground at SFO, which is seeing the worst of it locally. How are things looking out there at the airport?
Not too good, Brian. We've been watching the big board all day, which is right behind me there. Those cancellations and delays have been stacking up all day as the day goes on. So far, according to FlightAware, 38 cancellations at SFO today and about 300 delays. The FAA says the average delay time is about 54 minutes. A lot of the affected passengers say they are frustrated, not with the airport workers, rather with the politicians. A fun week visiting a family member in San Francisco ends on a low note for these two New Yorkers.
Our flight was canceled after 2 delays, and now we're stuck here for another 12 hours.
Definitely a major inconvenience, you know. It's definitely 12 hours is a long time.
The two sisters, Lisa Beal and Carrie Gillette, had their Saturday morning JetBlue flight to New York JFK canceled. They bought new tickets on Delta for an 11 p.m. flight, hoping to get home by Sunday morning.
I want to go home. I miss my family. I have an 8-year-old daughter. I miss her. It's been a week, so.
They're not alone. Many passengers ran into the same problems, like Scott Leindecker, who's been trying to get back to Texas since Friday night.
It started last night. It was also one of the later flights out. That got pushed, then it eventually got canceled out. So I had to swap to an earlier flight this morning. Once I got a flight in, my flight pushed.
Pushed, meaning delayed. At this point, he's just hoping he can make his connection. The ordeal is costing him extra time and money.
Now I had to get a car for another day. I had to do hotel per diem, all that stuff. So extra cash that wasn't in the budget. So
none of the passengers blame the airlines or the workers, but they're frustrated with members of Congress for the shutdown and the chaos it's causing.
Awful, honestly, that all these people are working so hard, especially here in the airport, and not getting paid.
Helicopter 77 landing.
The FAA says the flight cuts are meant to keep air travel safe because they simply don't have enough air traffic controllers working.
958 will be ready for departure 1 left.
Some are refusing to work without pay. Many who are still on the job are working a lot of overtime, and some are even picking up second jobs to cover their bills.
So what I can do is put you on standby. I have a 2 p.m.
Lisa and Carrie jumped at the standby option, optimistic it'll work out.
Hopefully this whole shutdown will end shortly and people can get back to getting paid.
And everybody can travel without worrying about, everything being
up in the air
at the last minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I just checked with Lisa and Carrie. Unfortunately, they could not get on that standby flight. Everybody else had the same idea. Now their hope is to get on that 11 p.m. flight as scheduled, and hopefully it leaves on time tonight. Saturday is not even the busiest day here at SFO. They typically see around 140,000 passengers on Saturdays. That's according to the airport. But tonight, a lot of folks are dealing with those headaches. Live here at SFO, I'll send it back to you, Brian.
Well, I wonder if people are going to take to the train again. I wonder how Amtrak is doing. A lot slower, but at least there doesn't seem to be a backup. Thanks much. Coming up, the next generation of pilots and air traffic controllers get a boost from local Bay Area nonprofits.
100% of passion. I never liked math or science or anything, but being in aviation has sparked it in me.
Why the sky is actually the limit for Bay Area urban eagles. We'll have that story later in the newscast.
Okay, in the last visit, we talked about how spectacular the weekend's going to be in the warm-up for the next few days. Got to take this whole visit and go into the complexities now of this challenging forecast for rain. See our storm out here? Let me get back over towards the center of it. You see the area of low pressure is developing right there. Now, that would look like the system that's going to bring us rain, but it's not. Watch what happens. This system is going to spin off and a piece of it's going to break away. I'm going to put the futurecast. This is what the satellite has looked like for the last 7 hours. This is actual imagery of what's taking place. Now we're going to look at the futurecast. In other words, the computer forecast depiction of what happens next. Just looking at the rain. You're going to see that actually leaves and kind of goes off by itself with the rest of the storm track. And a little piece of energy broke off and got left behind. I'm going to play that one more time. Let's clear it off. Keep your eye on that storm sitting there. You'll see it. One goes that way. A little piece breaks off and comes down this way. We'll play it again. It's subtle there, but there's our little piece that's left. So watch what happens now. The storm track just departed. That's a cutoff low because it's cut off from the storm track. I'm going to play 2 days worth of forecast imagery. And look at it just kind of sit there aimlessly, like, hey, what about me? What am I supposed to do? Where do I go? It makes it hugely challenging to forecast that little patch of rain when it has been cut off from the storm track and the rest of, in fact, let me show it to you another way. If we take a look at this imagery, looking at the wind field, and the way to do that now is we've got to put it in the monitor to see it. There's our little cutoff low. Remember how the storm track went this way? That's actually the primary focus of the jet stream up there. And that, for the rest of this week, is going to continue to race across the northern tier of the country and then deliver a pretty good batch of cold air and another storm for the midsection. Meanwhile, there's our system right there. So let's come back to that and let's put it back into the futurecast because this eventually does get pulled in with the rest of the westerlies and it gets drawn our way. And it looks better now from a rainfall standpoint. In other words, it looks more impressive now than it did yesterday from a rainfall standpoint. This is Thursday morning. Now that looks pretty good. This is the American model now, which has upped its odds of rain and also the rainfall intensity. Let's look at the European model. We want to compare and contrast these two because we're still technically kind of outside that 3 to 5 day window, and it's a cutoff low. So let's use all the tools we've got. And the European model is saying pretty much the same thing. Thursday morning, that's exactly what the American model had. Widespread rain first half of Thursday. That's the current plan. Cutoff lows don't always follow the script. But for right now, there's good agreement, and we should start planning on that first half of the day on Thursday to get widespread rain. And it looks like that system will kind of clear out by the time we get to Friday, and we should essentially be done with it. Not necessarily going to try and paint rainfall totals on this yet, only because we want to give that a little more time. But I can tell you the general thinking is we could see perhaps as much as an inch in the North Bay, and maybe about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch everywhere else. That is a broad brush takeaway from it at this point. Much more in the coming days. First of all, look at the next 3 days. Nothing is happening through Tuesday, but sunny and well above average. And then we get back here, and there's your rain focused on Thursday. And it looks like we should clear it out by Friday and Saturday. That would be the main question with the cutoff low is how long does it stick around, if at all, after Thursday? Right now, the thinking is we're going to bracket it to 1 terrarium. But if these days are important, Friday and Saturday, stay on top of the forecast with us. If any other change to the forecast should happen, we'll let you know.
And welcome back. Our final story tonight highlights a nonprofit giving young people the chance to take flight on National STEM Day. Mary Lee introduces us to East Palo Alto's Bay Area Urban Eagles.
Jason Ozan's dreams are reaching new heights with the Bay Area Urban Eagles.
You know, there's nothing like being in a plane and feeling the engine power, and you know, it's just you in an airplane. There's no speed limit, no police, no anything.
Jason was one of the first students when Bay Area Urban Eagles started 2 years ago. He now has his own private pilot license, and in January, Jason will attend San Jose State to study aeronautical engineering. Through aviation, he discovered a passion for science he never knew he had.
100% a passion. I never liked math or science or anything, but being in aviation has sparked it in me to want to learn and understand how these things work and how it incorporates in everyday life, honestly.
Jason was my flight instructor for the day, helping me pilot this large flight simulator for the first time.
Don't want to crash the plane or something.
Okay, so you're gonna have one hand on that side and one hand's gonna be on the throttle here.
Okay.
We'll get you
Yikes,
down.
yikes. Oh no. Okay.
And then pull up, you gotta flare.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. Did we just die?
You crashed. That's great.
Michael Mashak is the Bay Area Urban Eagles founder and CEO. After retiring from working decades in corporate America, Michael bought this plane. Soon, young people from his church and in his neighborhood heard about it and wanted to learn how to fly. So he took them under his wing, literally, and Bay Area Urban Eagles was born.
Growing up right next to the Palo Alto airport, I would come over and found it a little bit intimidating because there was no one that I could identify with. So I know that there are young people, especially now that they've come to me, I know there's young people who are interested in the industry, the aviation industry, and I want to let them know that they belong here.
Their private pilot ground school is a 3-month program preparing students for the FAA exam. Once they pass and receive their student pilot certificate, they start their 40-hour minimum FAA-required flight training. Michael is proud to open up this new world to young people of color.
When these kids reach a point where they let me know this is it. This is what they want. You see the excitement in my face. That's